Hey guys, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast. I'm joined by two very special guests that are regulars on this show. Absolutely love it. Got Sean Murphy. Had him on last week. If you guys want to follow Sean, definitely do. It's going to be a Super Bowl this week. Pistons play the Hornets, so I know he'll be in his bag. So
I'll be covering that one.
Yes. There we go. There we go. And to my right, if you want to follow Eric, he's a Clutch Points Detroit Pistons reporter. Eric is always on the timeline arguing with Drake stands, Derek White stands. It's a good follow. Both of these guys are good follows. It's very entertaining when I'm scrolling the timeline watching games. But fellas, how you guys doing?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. I knew that it was only a matter of time until this trio was back on a podcast together, and it feels right. It just does.
It was very highly requested. I will just say that.
Yeah, these combos of us together are therapeutic. There's a lot going on, in the Pistons timeline, a lot going on with this team. And any of those trolls of Derek White or Drake, I'm undefeated. So if y'all are here today, we can get poppy right now. It don't matter. You can do it here, the timeline. It don't matter to me.
I feel like there's got to be a lot of crossover there.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely it is. They ain't got nothing else to do. So let's get to it.
Okay, before we even get into talking Detroit Pistons today, Eric, I have to ask you, man, how does it feel to have some random ass guy pin his tweet about you? Because I was dying when I saw that. I was like, dude, what is this kid on?
And all the conversation started with is he was trying to make an argument about Anthony Davis. He basically said Jaden Ivy has averaged more time off than Anthony Davis has. I'm like, Anthony Davis has missed 200 games. Is this really the argument you want to lean on? And that's what sparked that entire thing. And I'm still pinned over to his profile. So he might ask me out to dinner next week too. I don't know. But hey, I'm glad I'm on his mind and his timeline. Appreciate you, Pookie. Thanks for the support.
At least get a good ribeye out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Might as well. Let's not waste each other's time. Come on.
I saw that. Like, both of you guys, I think respectively, I feel like Sean is undefeated though. Sean pisses off multiple fan bases.
Sean be going crazy this season. Sean be going off this year.
You know what's funny? It's like I don't go out of my way to. It's just these interactions happen and people try to come at me, and it's like, well, you best not miss, buddy.
Oh yeah, you ain't playing around this season.
If you're gonna come out and say something like, hell, even if Zach Ricochet plays. And say we're gonna win then, how do you expect me to not keep that in my head? That's a surprise tool we'll use for later. That's it's just what that is.
Shout out to Hawks TV. I feel like he's taken so many L's on the chin by the Pistons in the first three matchups. It's just like, oh, we didn't have Zach Ricochet, we didn't have Kristaps Porzingis. So I was like, well, you traded for a guy that couldn't breathe during the NBA Finals. I mean, that's your own fault.
Yeah, I was like, when are you ever gonna have Kristaps Porzingis?
Man, it's funny. I do want to say one more thing because I found it very Sean, you tweeted about this when you said you're moving to Detroit and you freaked out 90% of Atlanta Braves Twitter.
That was so funny.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Just when you're trying, and the problem is I tried to do it in a cheeky, cute, breaking. Sources say that Sean Murphy's looking at apartments in Detroit. Not thinking about the real world ramifications of the fact that there are other more famous and way more relevant Sean Murphys to society than myself. And my favorite thing is I went on Braves Reddit a day or two later, and I was like, hey, this is the other Sean Murphy, my bad. Everyone was just cracking up. So I've become low key accepted into Braves Reddit. So
with that being said, I put your name in a podcast title recently. And bro, your name has weight. I've never had that many downloads. I thought I had Sean Murphy from the Braves on, apparently. Then when you go on the Spotify and you click on Sean Murphy, it's nothing but Atlanta Braves, and then a couple of episodes that you've been on here. I thought it was honestly funny. I remember you tweeting that you broke Atlanta Braves Twitter. I remember texting you in the group text. I was like, bro, is it the baseball player Sean Murphy? It went right over your head. I was like, it's pretty big time down in Atlanta.
Dude, my buddy someone on Facebook who I hadn't talked to in a while, they sent me apparently an NL East Facebook account. Saw the follow-up tweet of saying maybe I should clarify I'm a basketball reporter and not an all-star catcher for the Atlanta Braves. An NL East fan page caught that and put that on there. It got quite a bit of hits on there too. It was just it was so funny.
Man, it's a bit. Both of you guys are so entertaining on the timeline to follow, and then anytime something blows up, we kind of text each other about it. Recently, the Morris brothers reached out to me to share their stream with Jalen Duren, and I had clipped him talking shit about Amen Thompson, and that went viral. And then they're like, "Oh, they don't like each other." I was like, "No, they don't fuck with each other." But
you always find a way to just drop bombs and just kind of lay in the cut about it.
Yeah, kind of like the Joker when the building kind of goes on fire.
It was legitimately, legitimately. I thought of you walking out of the hospital in your little gown, doing that crazy walk he does.
And it happens several times a week. I feel like on my timeline. I was like,
absolutely.
I'm gonna post this, have some lunch. Oh, it popped off. Let's go.
You started my Derek White beef, I think, just from the trade proposal that they had.
Well, that night kind of photoshopped you getting put in the walls of white from Derek White.
That too, on top of that, with Drake.
All right, I think that's enough of us.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
Wait, you didn't come here just for shenanigans and stupid banter?
Lock in.
Oh no, we still got 175 people still listening to us talk about just how our timelines are just hilarious. But appreciate all you guys watching. Don't know if you're watching the NBA Cup. Should be some good games. I mean, I think it's the first time I've actually even watched the NBA Cup. We had 6 days off, and I'm like, oh, thank God, man, I needed a break. I don't know about you guys. It's been a grind lately.
Yeah. That first 25 game push is a very real thing, you know? It's it's nice to have this in the calendar as a little mini exhale.
For sure. Well, I think a lot of people on here want us to talk about, the latest trade rumors. It's been so weird to follow. Shams Charania this week had touched on 3 teams that could possibly be interested in Anthony Davis. The Pistons were one of them. So I wanted to kind of ask both of you guys, what are your takes on this whole Shams Charania, Anthony Davis trade rumor saga as it does relate to the Pistons? Whoever wants to take it first, go for it.
Yeah, so I think that this one's interesting because, when you're looking at a guy like an Anthony Davis, he certainly, when you talk about a trade prospect, certainly a fascinating topic, right? I mean, he's someone who, when you look at his time throughout his career, when he is on the court, he is one of the most electrifying players in the league. And I do think it is fair to look at some of his time in Dallas, and you can say, yeah, the health issues have started coming back up. I would also venture to point out why some of those health issues came up, specifically with coming back early, trying to Nico Harrison rushing him out onto the court to try and make the trade justified. I think there were some things in Dallas that caused some of these health issues to really flare up and be what they are. Having said all that, with kind of some of the reporting that we've heard, after the Shams report, where, the Pistons actually haven't had conversation at all about Anthony Davis, and it seems like it wasn't really entirely in their plans to have conversations about Anthony Davis. This immediately kind of makes me believe that this wasn't as much a list of places that are actually going to be trading for Anthony Davis, as much as I think this was the desired teams of Anthony Davis's camp. And I think when you when you kind of look at possible reasons as to why that can be, I point you to the Game Over pod with Max Kellerman and Rich Paul, where literally this week, Rich Paul, one of the first episodes, he has a clip where he stops mid pod and answers a call from Shams and says, "You're my guy. I have to answer." And they're like, "Oh, who gives who information?" He's like, "Don't worry about that." So it's pretty well known that Shams, the way that he gets information, is a lot more player and agent driven than a Woj, who is more executive and front office driven. So all that to say, I have a pretty good feeling that this might not have come from in-house.
Eric, you have anything to kind of add on to that, or?
Yeah, I hate all of it. Honestly, I don't like this at all. I think it's so silly. I think people who are buying into it are just really just like, you have to understand that this isn't even in the Pistons' nature. Like, this doesn't make any kind of sense at all. Shout out to Amari Sankofa for being the one to stomp out the fire. He's always been a reliable reporter. Love his work. He's always done great stuff for the Free Press. So for him to kind of stomp out and say, and even Brett Siegel as well from Clutch Points, stepping out and just saying, there hasn't been any conversation yet. I wish reporters and media would frame it the way Sean just said, places that make sense for Anthony Davis, and then I'd be fine entertaining the conversation, because there's no question, yes, Anthony Davis would make this Pistons roster better if he's playing and reliable on the court, which is the problem, because he's getting older in his age, he's not getting more healthy as he's aging, and the idea would make more sense if the Pistons were like in the 8th seed, if like Duren was playing terrible, if like they weren't just like vibing or, living up to the expectations that were sought out before the season started. It would make sense to then have that conversation. It's not a thing that they really have to consider right now when you're sitting here playing as good as you are in the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Trajan's never really been the guy to kind of tip his hand if he were to be looking for a big move like this. And for all kind of players to be bringing in this kind of situation, even when they just said the guys have earned the right to just work together as a young core, it don't make any kind of sense to say, oh no, Anthony Davis is the one that's going to be the one to just change all of this in their direction. I didn't really buy it when I first saw it. I tweeted it out and said, Piston fans, any of these reports you see, just deal with them cautiously, because a lot of people just talk and they don't have to reveal any kind of sources or anything. So don't fall too deep into this. I didn't believe it from the first moment. I don't think this is anything that's going to actually play out. And I think the proof is already in the pudding with how the Pistons are playing right now.
I want to blame Kendrick Perkins because I felt like he started this
like
2 weeks ago, because he said my sources, like, who knows who he talks to, who knows like what front office executives. So like, hey, like Anthony Davis wants out. Can you kind of like start it a little bit, like get a little bit of fire on this? Because like Sean mentioned it, like Shams is really well connected with agents and players, and like this could just be agents. And who's his agent? Rich Paul. Who does Clutch Sports routinely go to when they want some news out? Shams. I mean, this has nothing to do with Anthony Davis, but what did Shams say about Malik Beasley? He's cleared. He's cleared. Wasn't cleared.
Yep.
I think Shams really does play on words a lot, and you really have to read a tweet like 3 or 4 times just so you can kind of comprehend it. And what you said, Eric, like if the Pistons weren't the number 1 seed, Jalen Duren didn't take progressions in his scoring, and he was just kind of like still averaging 11 points a game this season, yeah, maybe you kind of take a swing for Anthony Davis. But I mean, JB had to go on FanDuel this week and saying like, hey, like we made a decision to give these guys a green light of just keep on building what they're doing. Like we made a decision we weren't going to make big trades and big splashes, because I'm sure that's something that both of those guys had conversations about this summer. Is like, we could make a big move if you want to. Orlando just traded for Desmond Bane. Like, do you want to try to keep pace in the East? And obviously this front office said, you know what, they tripled their win total. They played some of their best basketball in their careers, their young NBA careers so far. And I think a trade for AD, or whether it's a Lauri Markkanen or any of these big names that have kind of been, thrown out by big media, I think it's just, hey, like here's a big sexy name. The Pistons are winning. Like let's try to, place them in Detroit, because obviously Detroit has a lot of, contracts they have to deal out. I think a lot of people don't even touch on the extensions with Jalen Duren or Jaden Ivy and Asar Thompson coming up next year. Like the Pistons have a lot of financial commitments that they have to decide on. And I think trading for a guy in Anthony Davis that makes $50 million a year, and also in his camp is kind of saying like, hey, he wants another extension. So I think trading for him, one, is going to cost you some pieces. I don't think it's going to cost you as much as other stars right now, but I think financially it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a team that's not even in the apron.
Yeah, especially when you look at the fact that I think they said because I mean, I'm sure his camp is going to ask for the max if he gets an extension. And I think it was like in his age 37 season to be getting paid like $72 million or something crazy like that, where you don't even like, that's one of those players where like, you can't even imagine what he looks like at that age. Like you could see it where like maybe he's still decently productive, but when a lot of his game like predicates on his shot blocking and his ability to make an impact around the rim, because as much as Anthony Davis wants to insist he's a power forward, he's not a power forward. And so like I think that's another thing too, of if like there's not really like the most natural fit, because sure, he could be a roaming big in Detroit, but like, you know, when you talk about like what this team needs, it's shooting and it's spacing, which is just like not what Anthony Davis is. Like after watching that Hawks Pistons game last night, if there's any team on that court that needs Anthony Davis, it's the Hawks. It's a team that like doesn't have that interior presence. It doesn't have that big, you know, it's a true threat. Like I think if you look at this article, which again, like reading the wording here from Shams, it says the Detroit Pistons, Atlanta Hawks, and Toronto Raptors are expected to be suitors for Davis, league sources told ESPN. So it's like, all right, cool. That gives us really nothing. But I think when you look at it, I think that goes in the order of teams that Davis's camp feels is the most strongly he could get to the finals with. Like, I think it goes in that order. So, you know, again, like I don't think when you look at the way that the Pistons play, you know, kind of to your guys' point, I think this is like a similar situation to Houston last year, where it's like this team's doing so well. They're ascending and getting to the top of their conference. And, you know, like there's really no reason to shake things up other than to say to your fan base, hey, look at this big juicy trade that we made. They only went and made the big move for Kevin Durant after their playoff run, when they saw, oh yeah, Jalen Green just isn't ready for this moment. And that's when they go and make a big move. As much as people want to say that about Jaden Ivy right now on December 13th, I think you feel a lot better if you say that in May or June of 2026.
And I think yesterday's game kind of puts a bow on a lot of everything that you said too, because it's not like the Pistons are just winning off of Cade shooting 45 times every game. It's not like he's like, granted, there have been some games where he's had to backpack and carry for the Pistons, but for a good stretch through a lot of games, we've seen a lot of other guys take steps. And even when, like, again, Beef Stew led them in scoring yesterday with 17. Like, we've seen Duncan really come on strong really over the past like month and some change. Like a lot of guys are taking like growth offensively. Even Asar, where he's not a super polished offensive scorer right now, but he's finding a rhythm with that little mid-range shot. We're seeing steps in Duren's game offensively. Ivy's coming alive in some ways. Like, they've shown the ability to score and be productive in ways that don't necessarily require a guy like an Anthony Davis. Again, could he possibly help? Sure, we're not going to like disrespect his talent or his skill set, but based on what they're doing, the Pistons have all of the leverage right now. If I'm Trajan, you have to convince me to even consider this right now. We're in the driver's seat. We're number one. We have assets. We have a winning direction, and it's on the back of our young guys. It's not like Tobias is scoring 30 or, you know, Duncan or LeVert is having some revelation as their leading guys. It's on the back of their young core. Everything is in the Pistons' favor right now, and even for some other names, which I'm sure we'll probably get into, it just doesn't make sense for them right now at this moment to blow that up with this kind of momentum, with the ability to win in so many different ways, whether it's a shootout, winning ugly on defense, winning close games in the end, winning blowout in performances. They were able to sit Cade Cunningham for the whole fourth quarter yesterday. Like, nobody played more than 24 minutes for them against the Hawks. So the Pistons have a lot of leverage on their head to just say, hey, I know y'all may want to be in the sexy reports by Shams, but we got something sexier, the number one spot in the Eastern Conference. So we're going to ride with that for now.
Yeah, I mean, out of all those teams, I think Toronto makes the most sense personally. I think if you kind of just look at the players that they have, I think maybe you could throw them like a Quickly or RJ Barrett, and maybe that gets the Mavs excited, because I feel like the Mavs want to just rebuild personally. Like, they're not actively saying like we want to rebuild, but
right.
I think all the writing's on the wall, especially after the Luka trade, and they're still trying to just pick up everything that just fell apart with Nico Harrison. I mean, Kyrie Irving, like, you forget that he's even with the Dallas Mavericks because he's been injured. They got Ryan Nebhard out playing D'Angelo Russell, who's on a freaking two-way right now. So, I mean, there's a lot.
Wonder who could have seen the D'Angelo Russell disaster coming. God, if only that wasn't the most predictable bull on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, man. Like you were better off just like re-signing Spencer Dinwiddie, and he's like playing overseas after he saw like what was going on in Charlotte. He's like, yeah, I'd rather go play for some Euros than play over here.
It wasn't a great sign for Spencer Dinwiddie when on media day, the thing that went viral was people going, wait, Spencer Dinwiddie's on the Hornets?
Yep,
right. Right. Like I didn't even know. I was like, oh, they have Spencer Dinwiddie and Colin Sexton. Maybe they'll figure shit out. Nah.
I thought I was ahead of the curve. I thought they were gonna be doing something. But I mean it's it's a lot of season left. Maybe they'll find a way to sneak into 10, but it ain't looking good for them right now.
Hey, you know what? Of all the teams out in the NBA, they sure are one of them.
They sure are one of them.
You can't take that away from them.
They are.
Unless they introduce relegation, but they can't take that away from them.
They still exist.
Yeah, exactly.
For now. I mean, even New Orleans, maybe they switch again. Maybe the Hornets and the Pelicans switch again.
Man.
Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they just both need a little identity switch up one more time.
Charlotte Bobcats, come on down.
Bring them home, baby.
Bring them back.
Bring back those ugly orange uniforms with the ugly Bobcat.
Oh, that looked like they were made in Microsoft Paint. Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Kevin Burleson, one of the Pistons assistant coaches on those Bobcat teams.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the more you learn, like I looked on Getty, I was like, no, he was on the 7-win team, wasn't he? I was like, no, he's on the 14-win team. He wasn't on the 7-win team. So it's all good. It's all good.
I think I just saw Nick Young on Twitter. I think he was popping off at Steven Jackson because they were having a back and forth. He's like, bro, you can't talk about me. You played for the Bobcats. And I'm like, that's such a short-sighted argument, but damn, that does kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty It's pretty devastating when you can just be like, you played for the Bobcats. End of insult. It's like,
you were part of that history, buddy.
There's some younger viewers that probably are Googling Charlotte Bobcats right now because they don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
This is a real thing, guys. Sorry.
So I was looking at just some topics for this week, and I stumbled across Mark Stein. He was on, I think, Sirius XM radio it was, and he kind of talked about what he's hearing with the Detroit Pistons. I'll get the exact quote. Saying that the early noise about the Pistons have been they don't want to go out and make a splashy trade. So what do you I know we just talked about, making a big splash for an Anthony Davis. What do you kind of think about like what, big media members like Mark Stein are hearing from the Pistons approach? Do you think that's the right approach for them to just kind of stand pat and just maybe add something marginally for what the team possibly needs at the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, this is a team. This is one of the two teams in the league that has 20 wins. This is one of the youngest teams in the league, has a clear identity, that knows exactly who they are, knows exactly what they aren't. And I think you have like a group of veterans where, you that complement what they're doing well. And when you look like up and down the roster, I mean, like the fact that there's still like, I know there's like a lot of jokes that are made still about the rotations and things like that, but they're still able to go like 10, 11, 12 deep and still win a lot of games. I mean, they're still 7-3 in their last 10. I imagine as the season goes on, you're going to see that whittle down to 10, and eventually probably 8 in the postseason. But the reality of it is right now you have guys, who are contributing from top to bottom. And so when you look at like the Pistons going out and doing something at the deadline, like, yeah, I think they can fortify the rotation. I think like similar to how they went and got a Dennis Schroeder last year, I think it can go out and get, like someone, as like a potential like 3-point marksman. Like, I know, Anthony, I think you might have floated out this name in our conversation before, but you said, what if Detroit could go get like a Dante DiVincenzo, or what if they can go get, like a 3-point marksman, who's able to come off the bench and contribute in like multiple different ways. I think like this team can potentially get to the finals right now, as constructed, and not have to go make any major moves. Like, not as much because of, oh yeah, the Pistons are just that good, but also it's like, who really scares you in the Eastern Conference right now?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Knicks, just because like the way Mike Brown has them playing, like offensively, they're playing even more fast paced, but we haven't seen them yet this year, which is kind of surprising given the schedule. I feel like we play the Hawks and the Bucks every other night, but I know we're talking about that before we went on, but I mean, schedule's kind of been pretty gracious towards the Pistons so far, but
yeah. Also, what the hell, Adam Silver, of making us wait until the end of February for the first Pistons Thunder matchup? The fact that we have to wait until the end of February for the two best teams in the league to play, war crime.
Very absurd.
War crime.
maybe it'll be in a 40-game win streak when we can snap it then.
Yeah, that'd actually be pretty sick.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it either. Again, I feel like this is a very advantageous position for them to be like kind of sitting in. Like, you know, we've seen the conversations on the social media. There are areas, of course, where, you know, their roster could possibly use some improvements. There are some areas that may look a little clunky on some nights where, you know, you wonder about what player A or whoever else could be here, what they would look like. So I understand the conversation. And again, if they were like in a situation like the teams, I mean, like Toronto, who's kind of, I think they lost like 3 straight, if I'm not mistaken. Atlanta's, you know, sitting there in like the play-in area right now. Like there are some teams that could afford to be, you know, buyers at the deadline or sellers. And the Pistons are not in a situation where they have to be that. They could, again, there's some names that I would love just fantasy booking wise, I think would be awesome in a Detroit Pistons uniform. We'll get into that later probably. But for now, they're in a position where they don't have to. And that's the difference. Again, the way that I don't want to say that they've been overachieving, because I do think they were capable of being one of the better teams in the East based on what Sean said. There's not a lot of teams that are scaring you. New York is good, but I don't think they've been extremely impressive for a lot of stretches and in a lot of different areas too. Boston is a good team, but again, I don't think they're, you know, scaring anybody based on what they have now. They can still be a little inconsistent. Orlando's a bit up and down. They just lost Franz. Like, there's a lot of things that are in the air for them. Philly, Toronto, I knew Cleveland was going to be fraudulent, but there's just a lot of things looking at the East where you don't really have to be shaking and thinking, okay, we really got to sell in on this player or buy in on this one player to take us over the edge. Could it possibly work with some names? Possibly, but again, they're not in a position where I feel like they have to make that happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you just kind of look at the landscape, the only thing that worries me a little bit is Boston is not ruled out Tatum coming back. And I keep seeing all these clips. Apparently, he had a surgery to kind of just fast track his Achilles tendon tear that he had. He looks like he's getting more explosive by the day. I mean, like if they get him back like around, you know, mid-February to March, they're rolling right now. The Pistons play them on Monday, by the way, which is going to be a really good test, obviously. And I feel like anytime we play them, it's just much watch TV, especially the way it ended last time of like being able to tie the game at the free throw line. Couldn't do it. But I mean, maybe the Knicks and Boston right now. I mean, like the East is not what it was last year. There's not like a whole lot of teams. Like Sean, we were talking about expectations last week. Like a lot of fans are saying, like, if you don't make it to the NBA Finals, it kind of feels like a failure just because of the way that they've started off. They're 20-5 in the first 25 games of the season. Like the expectations have completely like kind of flipped with fans.
The fact that, like, can we just take a moment and reflect on the fact that we are like legitimately in 2025, based off of where this team has been in years past, we are unironically saying the statement, if this team gets to the finals, it will be a failure. And we're not laughing when we're talking about it. Like, I personally don't think it's a failure if they get to the finals. And I mean, if they don't get to the finals, like I think if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think that's a massive win for this organization. But at the same time, I could definitely understand why people feel that way, and the standpoint of like, especially through the first, you know, again, it is about a third or, you know, just over a quarter of the season. They have looked like the best team in the conference. I mean, they have looked every bit, you know, the you know, the step up that people might have hoped they could be. I mean, I personally didn't see this. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think first seed in the East. I thought third And I thought like that would be, exciting, let alone this. Like, this is best start since 05-06.
Hey, went to the finals that year.
Right. The one thing that does, I don't want to say worries me, but the one thing I guess you would possibly think about is, okay, fine. If we're not going to get any of the potential names that are out there, for the market, that's cool. But I am nervous about other teams going after them as well. Like, I'm definitely I'd be a little worried if Trey Murphy ended up on a few of these teams in the Eastern Conference. Like, I don't know how. Lauri Markkanen is weird to me, honestly. I feel like he just needs to stay in Utah and figure it out, because I don't really see a whole lot of teams where I would, at least not for the Pistons' sake. Maybe some others could work, but again, his defense kind of worries me a lot. I know he's a great offensive player, but I don't know. I'm not as high as him as other people are. But there are some players out there that could tip a scale and change a lot of teams for some teams that could be buyers in this wide open Eastern Conference. So I do think some names are going to shuffle around. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive the Pistons try to be.
I mean, hey, with New Orleans, I mean, they seemingly had no idea what they were trading away to get Derek Queen. So who knows what you can swindle out of them to get Trey Murphy the third. Maybe they think they're actually getting Sean Murphy, but they're actually losing Trey Murphy.
Well, let me get on the phone, you guys. I got my 2 phones.
Troy, we need you to understand, man. Come on. You owe us a solid here.
That is as brutal of a report as you could have about a front office, that they had no clue what they were trading away, even though all other reports have said Atlanta went multiple times. Hey, so you do realize this is what you're giving. This is some Man Ray, is this your wallet type stuff, man.
Here's the thing, like, Derek Queen is excellent. He's a really good pick.
Yeah.
So who gets the praise? Is it Joe Dumars or Troy Weaver for that pick?
They fight for it all the time, I'm
certain.
They arm wrestle over it constantly, I bet.
I mean, that feels like a Troy pick through and through. But it also feels like a Troy move to just give up way too much to do it.
I feel like Troy gets praise for drafting Derek Queen, but Joe gets the brunt of it for trading mind you, 2 lottery picks, 2 top 5 lottery picks. You look at Tankathon right now. They had the Pacers pick. Pacers are getting their pick back. They're going to get a lottery pick. The Hawks are going to get a lottery pick. Like, if the Hawks win another lottery and it turns into Peterson, like, I know they drafted and traded up to get Jeremiah Fears, but I mean, you can't tell me you wouldn't love the idea of a Peterson in New Orleans, because they desperately need a point guard right now.
There was just, like, to me, the Pacers one is the most inexcusable from the standpoint of there was no reason that had to be done before the finals.
No.
None. Like, you would have been in the same place as an organization. It actually would have been in a better place if you waited, but you like things would have been the exact same, because it's not like you're going to be going out and playing a game on Wednesday. It's like, no, just wait.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the draft picks that we have. Obviously, it's, Troy has his fingerprints on a lot of the core guys like Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivy. But I mean, just the process and the losing, man, like, I feel bad for New Orleans, because I know they're going to head towards a rebuild. I know they're going to get swindled for the Herb Jones trade. Like, Herb Jones is probably going to the Lakers, and they're probably going to get like Rui Hachimura, and then he's going to forget how to play basketball down there. It's just going to be like, it's just a fleece, like a typical Rob Pelinka fleece.
Yeah, I don't know what happened where, like, we all just kind of, like, have to just, like, give Rob Pelinka, like, whatever he wants now. But apparently that's just the NBA we're in.
I mean, hey, if you can get Trey Murphy for basically nothing, I mean, that's a good Tobias Harris replacement, if you ask me. Like, everyone talks about Lauri and Anthony Davis. Like, go give me Trey Murphy. Like, go give me Trey Murphy. He'd be a good fit.
I mean, I'm sure Trajan would be pretty excited about having a Trey Murphy on this roster.
And that's where I also don't rule out another swing, because that it just makes too much sense. The fact that he was connected there, you need we all love Tobias, but we see the wheels coming off slowly but surely. Like when it's on a fast break, you hold your breath every single time. And his defense is kind of taking a little bit of a slip. So knowing that, New Orleans is looking like a complete joke show right now, they're not going to keep everybody. Trey Murphy would be so perfect fantasy booking wise for the team like the Pistons.
That would just be doing Tobias so dirty, though.
I know it would.
Like, hey, you came back to our franchise. Like, you helped build this culture. As a thanks, you're going from a team with 5 losses to a team with not even 5 wins. Like, have a good day. It's like,
to the guy that was just over here recently. So now you both get to just watch from afar.
You know what would be funny though? Like they don't have to give up Tobias. It's like here's Marcus Sasser, Troy. Like here's a pickback that like we probably didn't need to trade up for. Like I could totally see them doing that. And like even though they do have point guards, they don't really the way that Troy built teams is just like, you know what? I know I have a guard, but I'm gonna just draft another one because I want another shiny toy.
Imagine he's like, we'll even throw in Paul Reed, and Troy's like, did you say a big?
How tall is he? Above 6'8"? Perfect. Bring him in.
He's like, what's his wingspan? Halle Berry.
That's all he needs.
Yeah, I mean, like, hopefully New Orleans gets it settled down. I know we're kind of joking, but I mean, like, Sean asked me last week because I thought they had 5 wins. I was like, how many wins do they have? He's like, 3. I was like, no shit. I thought they had 5.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like, no, it is bad.
Oh man, I mean, like they fired Willie Green, which I thought they should have fired him last year. James Borrego has kind of got them playing more fast paced, but they're still finding a way to lose games, man. Like poor Pelicans, man. I feel for them because they have so much talent. It's just like, how the hell are you that bad?
Yeah, unfortunately, they look like a team that's ran by Joe Dumars, and I wanted to believe that over the years he could have grown and learned a lot from the mistakes that he made. And if anything, he somehow is just going even harder.
Yeah.
The conspiracy theories with that are Joe had a job in the league office. They're probably like, take the job in New Orleans, tank it, and then we get a team in Vegas. We'll relocate.
Adam Silver is like pulling the impractical jokers. He's like, okay, now trade their unprotected pick. And they're all like laughing in the back room.
Trade to the Hawks.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Get back on track a little bit, but hey, man, I'm all good for a good ribbing. We can laugh at it now since we're kind of out of the basement. Now the Pelicans are in the basement with the door shut, and Pistons are back up with the cool kids partying and staying up past 9 o'clock. Pelicans are in bed by 8 o'clock, and we're like partying and like, keep it down up there.
Like we're just trying to watch Family Feud.
Wheels on at 7. I'm going to bed after. So I've been listening to a lot of NBA podcasts, national podcasts, and I wanted to ask both of you guys, because you both cover the team, you're both reporters. Why do you think the national media still doesn't buy the Pistons as a top dog, a top NBA team? Because I feel like every time I listen to a podcast, it's like, the Knicks, they might take that number 1 seed from the Pistons. Boston's hot. Like, why do you think the Pistons still aren't getting respect nationally?
No one has a backbone. Like, if you want the truth, whenever you hear people predict in the national media, like who's going to win the championship, it's always the team who won the championship the previous year. It's always safe to say, like last year, everyone talked about, I just don't see a world where Boston doesn't come out and win the championship. I mean, it's Boston. It's clearly Boston. And except it was Oklahoma City the entire time, and everyone saw it. Right? Like this year, like everyone can see the Pistons are the best team in the Eastern Conference. All I could see on the timeline during Pistons games is people going, I think the Pistons are for real. This team's legit. This looks really good. And then whenever you like hear, like you mentioned, like the Hoop Collective is a pod that you and I both really like to listen to. Whenever it gets like talking about the best team in the East, people will say, I think it's the Pistons. And it's like, well, let's slow down. It's like, well, at what point, like we're 25 games in now. At what point do we get to stop questioning if this is for real or not? Like, because it's not like how Chicago was winning games to start the season where they were just raining down threes like hell hath no fury. and Josh Giddey was shooting threes like he was prime Steph Curry. Like it was clear that was not sustainable. But the way the Pistons are playing with high intensity, like quality defense, scoring in the paint, like all the things that they've done, like are not things that can't be replicated night in, night out, which is exactly what we've seen with this team. Like, I think the reason why they're not getting the respect is because when you look at the landscape of the league, the people are only going to, go out and they're only going to put their name behind it if they've gone out and definitively done it before. And so until the Pistons are in the Eastern Conference Finals, people aren't going to come out and say, oh, I think this team can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, yeah, it's pretty easy if they've already gotten there to come out and go out on a limb. And it's like, I'm going to go out on a limb and I think the Thunder might make the playoffs. Like, really? You think so? Or brave, bold?
Yeah, a lot of these arguments are there. A lot of these arguments against the Pistons, based on what Sean is saying, they're either based on the future or they're based on the past. They're not based on what's happening in this current moment right now. The best team in the Eastern Conference is the Detroit Pistons. The second best team in the NBA right now is the Detroit Pistons. I think that's a fair thing to say, and a lot of people don't believe it because, like Sean says, they haven't. Like, people argue it as if who were to come out of the Eastern Conference right now if you could bet on it. And I don't like that argument because it's not the playoffs yet. We don't know what it's going to look like in the postseason. And if you're basing it on last season, they're two different teams now at this point. The Knicks aren't the same team they just had. They got a new coach, some new players. Like, it's a different philosophy. They got different things that they're working on right now. Pistons the exact same way. So I don't like either of those kind of arguments that they apply for the Pistons, because when you watch and see what's going on right now, it's clear as day that the Pistons are as good as they are. It's the same thing I was hearing when I put up my top 10 player ranking and I had Cade above Jalen Brunson. And everybody's argument for why Brunson is better is because of what he did in the playoffs last season. And that's just lazy, and I don't like that. Cade is playing better now, and it should be based on the now. And then even basing it on other things. Like, I think Cade should be higher in these MVP rankings that I'm seeing. Like, I don't like how people kind of pick and choose and change criterias, because the first few years we heard impact on winning. We heard winning records being so important and whatnot. Now Cade has his team number one in the East. Pistons playing fantastic on both sides of the ball, and Luka Doncic with the Lakers, who are fourth in the West, if I'm not mistaken. Not a better record, not playing better. Luka's not a better two-way player, but somehow, just because he's more efficient and scores more, he's higher in the MVP rankings. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me at all. I think Cade should be higher in that discussion. He should be no lower than 3 in these kind of conversations. So, like, to me, it's a big reason why normally media people and reporters aren't supposed to, put their fan hats on. But that's a reason why I do it, because I don't like the disrespect that this team has this with this stigma in terms of what they do. And again, as long as I'm staying professional, I think it's appropriate to do so, because it's clear when people argue against the Pistons, they're truly not paying attention. And it's important for us to kind of set the record straight, because like Sean said, they ain't got no backbone to actually pay attention or speak logically when talking about what the Pistons have done thus far this season.
I will say, when you do look at the Pistons' strength of schedule, it's 27th. They have had an easy schedule. I do feel like, from a national perspective, they're waiting for the Pistons. Like, we have a West Coast trip coming up the week of Christmas. I think if they come out of that West Coast trip, they take care of the Blazers, they beat the Lakers, who that just got picked up for a NBC game, by the way, Pistons and Lakers. I think if you go and have a really great West Coast trip, maybe they'll kind of change their tune. But I feel like it's not a Bull situation like you touched on, Sean. Like, the Bulls were terrible last year, but they were 5-0. They were the number 1 seed for the first week of the NBA season. But the Pistons have been the number 1 seed for multiple weeks. They've beaten the teams in front of them. You can't really fault the NBA for giving them of a more relaxed schedule. They're taking care of business. And in the losses that they have had, they haven't really been blowouts outside of the Chicago Bulls loss. And I think that was opening night. Every game has gone down to the wire. Yeah. Oh, Cleveland too. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, out of like five losses, only 2 have been kind of like out of reach or out of hand for the team. But I mean, it's not like this team last year didn't make the playoffs and, tripled their win total. It's not like they weren't a 6 seed. I mean, they're a 6 seed last year. They're a number 1 seed this year, and they've taken progressions. They've each gotten better in their own right. I feel like Jalen Duren's leap isn't really getting talked about a lot. I feel like we do a pretty good job talking about it locally here in Detroit, but I still feel like a lot of people don't talk about it. Asar Thompson has taken leaps of being more of an aggressor. I mean, he's had games this year where he's having 7-8 assists, and he's not the the lead guard. Like, he's like maybe a second or a third lead guard. Cade Cunningham's usually the lead guard out there. Cade's taken progressions in scoring, almost averaging 28 a game. I think there's a lot with this team that doesn't really get the respect that I think it deserves. And obviously, I think a lot of people will come back with like, well, you haven't really played anyone. You haven't been battle tested yet. And it's just like, well, the week of Christmas, I think will be a very good test. And like, if they take care of business, they beat LeBron and the Lakers, that's going to be talked about on every type of Sports Center, CBS radio, whatever it is, and maybe the Pistons will get more respect that way. But until then, I don't really think the national media is going to give them the fair shake of being a top dog.
Which, by the way, like, if that's the game that like gets people to go, oh, the Pistons are legit, then I think that's almost like a league-wide like litmus test of who actually watches the games. Because, like, with all due respect to the Lakers, they're front runners. Like talk about a team, like they beat the bad teams and they lose almost solely to the good teams. And I mean, like, when you look at the Pistons, season thus far, they've only lost like of the 5 games they've lost, only one of them was double digits. Mm-hmm. Every other game that they've been in this year, like they have not been defeated by anything more than single digits like the rest of the season. And every other game has been pretty dominant, or if it has come down to the wire, Detroit's gone out and gotten it done pretty decisively. So like, I think that's like the other thing as well. When you look at like the Pistons are winning in a multitude of ways. Like they're winning, like when they're like, they're winning when they're going out and like putting on offensive displays. They're winning when it gets really ugly and it comes down to the wire. They're winning when they have to come from behind and are facing, adversity. Like, it's a team that just finds a way to win, which when you talk about the elite teams in the league, that's the key characteristic that they need. So if that's, if that's not an elite team, I don't know what is.
And I can't stand the strength of schedule argument in some spots, because you can only play who's on your schedule. Like, I'm sorry, They can't play the Nuggets every single night. Like, guys, I'm sorry, they just can't do that. And we've seen them lose games that they should have won too. And then people want to pile on for that, which is fair. If you lose to the Bucks without Giannis and you had a lead, I totally understand that criticism. But when they beat up on the teams the way they're supposed to beat up on them on, they deserve their credit and their flowers for doing so. And they've been consistent with how they play. And the way they play, to me, if they want to prolong and like look towards the playoffs, the way the Pistons play is conducive to playoff basketball. Emphasizing defense, playing in transition. They're trying to work on turning the ball over a little bit less. They're working on their half-court sets a little bit better, playing against zones a lot, getting their shooting up with guys like Duncan Robinson. They're, again, like Shaw just said, they're finding different ways to win in a multitude of different ways. And, again, it translates to playoff basketball, especially when you have a superstar in Cade Cunningham to lead it. So, I've never been a fan of the strength of schedule argument, and they played good teams. They beat the Rockets, one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Orlando is kind of figuring it out now. They're still top 5 or top 4 in the East right now. So they're not just beating up on the Hornets or the Pelicans not to come back to New Orleans again, but they're not just beating up on these teams every single night. They played some tough competition in their division in the East. Like, it's been some good games and they're sprinkled in. I just think that's lazy for some people to say.
No, I mean, they're 5-0 against the West. I mean, people say, you've had an easy schedule. You beat the Rockets, who are kind of considered one of the top tier. I know it was really early on in the season, but you still took care of the Rockets. You beat a Blazers team that was playing some of their best basketball, even after Chauncey Billups got removed as head coach, and you have Thiago Splitter as interim head coach. Like, they're taking care of teams that they need to take care of. Like, last night was a perfect example. They took care of an Atlanta Hawks team that was banged up and injured, and it was a layup line. No one was playing defense whatsoever. I felt like it was just a layup line all night. But I mean, you can't really fault them for taking care of the teams in front of them. They can't play all the teams that are 5 to 10 games over 500. They'll play those teams when they get to play them. But I mean, like, to kind of give the strength of schedule argument, I think it's just kind of just lazy at that point.
Yeah. Eric brought up fantasy booking earlier when he turned in, when he turned into Eric Vincent McMahon. But like when you look at like this isn't wrestling, like this is professional sports. You have a schedule that's laid out ahead of time. It's not pre-planned or preordained in any way. I'm so sorry for calling you Eric Vincent.
I want to walk away right now for a minute. I'm just saying, you're not putting me up there with Vince McMahon. I'm not allowing that right now, Sean.
It just rolled off the tongue too well, damn it. But anyway, all that to say, like, again, you can really only do what's in front of you. And, this is a team before where, this time 2 years ago, we were talking about a complete opposite situation. So the fact that this is the team that's in this situation where they were, even just a year ago in comparison, like, I just, again, people can keep moving the goalposts all they want, but like, just look at the top of the standings and that speaks for itself.
And let's not undersell the injuries that they've dealt with, too. I keep forgetting about how many guys they've had in and out of their rotation this year. They've missed a lot of guys. Dannis Jenkins now has himself a professional NBA outlook because of how he played during this stretch, because of Cade being gone, because of Ivy being, unavailable. Like, that was able to launch and springboard his momentum over right now. So, again, it's not like Cade is just like put up 50 bombs against like a bunch of B-list guys. Like they played a lot of their backups and they still found ways to win, which shows how great JB Bickerstaff has been as a coach. So I'm not balling for that at all.
Can I say something real quick on the Dannis Jenkins point?
Please.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be another Vince McMahon.
No. I mean, it can be, absolutely.
No, it cannot.
It's such good shit. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, no, I mean, like, one thing you kind of have to start looking at with Dannis Jenkins, like, if you do talk about like potential roster moves, Dannis is already up to 20 games. And when you're a two-way player, you can only play 50 in a season. Mm-hmm. So like, there's kind of a limit to your usage. So we're starting to get to the point where, I mean, clearly there's still 30 games left on that. You have Ivy, that just came back. You have Sasser who just came back, but like, you're getting to the point here pretty soon because, I mean, like, Dannis is a pretty regular fixture in the rotation at this point. Like, you're going to have to make a decision about converting his contract or what you're going to do here, because I just can't fathom him going back down to the Wayne State Fieldhouse and playing with the Crews. Like, no disrespect to the Crews, but it's like, with what Dannis has shown us, it's like, what does he need to go down to the G League and do at this point?
Going toe-to-toe with Tyrese Maxey.
I mean, to be fair, I think his spot has already been taken in the G League, like, respectively. Like, they have Jaden Atkins, they have Quincy Olivari. Like,
right.
I don't really think that they are anticipating him coming back. And if I did have to guess, I think Isaac Jones gets converted into a two-way, because I've never seen a player get picked up on an active roster spot and actually play real minutes in the G League. I think the Crews really like Isaac Jones. He's shown the ability to play power forward. Like, I've been watching a lot of Crews games just to kind of, keep an eye on Marcus Sasser, Chaz Lanier. Like, they're playing double bigs out there with Tolu Smith and Isaac Jones. So, I mean, I think that's probably what would happen with Dannis, is he just gets that 15th roster spot. He gets converted and you lock him up multi-year. So that way you have a cheap backup point guard, kind of like how Trajan did with Jose Alvarado. It's very similar where, he goes undrafted. They're both undrafted guards. He's on a really cheap deal for multiple years, and you don't have to really worry about going into the backup point guard market.
I mean, if that's a guy, by the way, who's available for trade, I know we don't need him, but like, Jose Alvarado is just a Piston to his core. he just, when you watch him play basketball, he looks like a Piston.
Yeah, he's an irritant, that's for sure.
He's got that pit bull mentality for sure. But yeah, I love what they've been able to discover through with Dannis, because I feel like they've kind of played into a point where they kind of need him for sure. Like, I like Ivy, but I think he plays better at this point, a little bit more off ball. I think he did a really good job yesterday initiating a lot of their offense, but I think he's better when Dannis is next to him and kind of setting the table, creating looks for other people. Ivy's still showing the ability to be a catch and shoot guy. Help spread the floor for Ron. really good cutter and driver, creating looks for other people at the rim. I feel like they do need to kind of be the stabilized backup at this point, even, if again, they definitely got some decisions to make, but I think he's found the way to show that he's more valuable here with
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think he's going to be in a Motor City Cruise game, even though they keep selling his poster. Like every Facebook ad I see, it's got like Dannis Jenkins. I was like, yeah, you might want to change that because I don't think he's going to be spending any time with the Motor City Cruise, which I'm sure the Pistons are very happy about because I didn't really. You look at like what he averaged last year. He averaged like a point a game, and he's up to 8 this year. Just kind of taking advantage of his playing time, but it'll be interesting to see what does happen. I could be completely wrong and Isaac Jones gets waived and we have an open two-way spot. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it almost like certainly just, I mean, like when Jones was brought in is when, Tobias was injured and, there was kind of that, that need for more depth in the front court as well. Whereas now, like, I think things are changing and it's pretty abundantly clear to me that Dannis Jenkins is an NBA player. Like you said, I mean, JB's literally come out and said himself, he's an NBA player through and through. We're lucky we have him as a two-way. And it's just when guys keep playing like that, they generally get converted to real contracts.
So I had a fun question for you guys. As you know, December 15th is the date that players that sign contracts could be traded. And I saw someone mention Chris Paul is on a 1-year, $3.6 million contract. Now, I'm not saying the Pistons. How funny would it be if he goes to the Lakers?
Like,
as if the Clippers experiment could get worse. He's just gonna blow up LA in one season.
Can you imagine they trade him to the Lakers and then it gets vetoed again? Just for old sake.
Hilarious.
just for one last FU.
Just to be petty.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm thinking about it because one of their national games, the Clippers' only nationally televised game by Amazon Prime this year, is coming up pretty soon. Like, it would just be all the storylines you want. The Clippers suck. Ty Lue says, fuck CP3. We don't fuck with CP3. Can you imagine
like us?
Yeah, he not like us. Like, can you imagine, like, he's playing next to LeBron on the fast break. He hits a 3, and he looks at Ty Lue, and he's just talking shit to the Lakers, to the Clippers bench, man. Like, I would, like, I don't really watch a lot of Lakers games, but I would tune into that game just for the storylines.
Certified Laker boy, certified flagrant foul. Wow, 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 wow. I deserve to get kicked for that one.
Kendrick will let it slide. It's all right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something that's gonna be itched up here for probably like the next 10 years.
You're like, those were words that came out of Sean's mouth. Anyway, next segment.
That's documented now.
No, I mean that would be hilarious stuff. He did go to the Lakers and then like they veto it one last time. That would be funny. But him like just going there and then like shit and getting to see the Clippers one last time with his retirement tour. But yeah, man, NBA has just been a wild business. I did want to do one more topic on today's show, and it was the ESPN top 25 under 25. Now, this is a full list, so I went ahead and made a graphic because I feel like some people are more just visual people, so you guys can kind of follow along. Also did the listing from Victor Wembanyama being 1 and Reed Shepherd being 25. So I don't know if there's a individual player you guys want to focus on with this topic, or just kind of maybe you don't agree with Sar Thompson at 24. Maybe you think Jalen Duren should be higher. Could you argue Cade Cunningham's better than Anthony Edwards right now?
I mean, I would say, like looking at this list, I personally would rather have Asar Thompson over Alex Sarr. That's just me. If I'm nitpicking and going, going through this list, that's one where I'm like, well, that feels a little questionable. But otherwise, I think a lot of this list is pretty spot on and pretty accurate. Like, if I'm pretty honest, like I think Cade's coming for number 2 on this list. Like, I think Anthony Edwards his days are numbered in that ranking. I think it's pretty clear that now that Cade has, like the Pistons winning and doing what they're doing. And like, I just, you look at the direction that Minnesota's going in. I think the Pistons are going to finish, with a better standing in the season than Minnesota will. I know part of that's the conference that they're in, but I also think part of that is just the level of play that you're seeing from Cade, the ability that he has to elevate what's around him. So I think otherwise, like if you're just looking, at this list, I think you don't really take much issue with most everything on here. I think they got a lot of this right. I think you kind of have to put Wemby at number one, even though it's kind of like when he's, it's like the when he is actually on the court thing. And I know people don't want to accept that he's going to be someone with injury issues, but I mean, I'm sorry, someone with that frame, they're going to have injury issues. So it's just the way it is.
I'm wondering if this list is based on what they're playing like now or what we think they're going to be like down the line, because I feel like a lot of these guys, maybe not for Asar, I don't know. I feel like some of this feels like maybe it's more of a projection than it is of what they're playing like right now. But some of the lists, most of the lists, honestly, I don't really have too much of a problem with. I would personally move Cade up already. I just think, I think he's been a lot better of a defender. His two-way ability as a playmaker in an elite level and as a scorer, I think that's kind of just earned him the right. I think Anthony Edwards has always been a dynamic scorer, but I don't really see his game kind of progressing in a whole lot of other ways personally. So I personally would put Cade at 2. I personally don't mind Asar being as low as he is. Again, I feel like a lot of these guys in front of him have kind of taken a lot of strides offensively. Even like guys like Dyson Daniels, Jalen Suggs has been pretty impressive offensively in some stretches. I don't understand what Washington does with their young players. Like, I think Sar should be used way more than he has been and just kind of featured a lot more, and I just don't see that with them from whenever I've seen them play. And I feel like a lot of areas in the SARS game, granted, we've seen some progression. I just don't think he's really done enough for me to pass a lot of the guys in front of him. Like, I love Dylan Harper already. Knipple's been fantastic. Stephon Castle's really good. Even the Orlando guys, like, I think, Paolo definitely needed to drop because I don't like the way Paolo's been playing, honestly, since he's been in the league. He needs to be a back to the basket like kind of guy instead of, I'm going to bring the ball up and facilitate like a point forward. Like, that's not his game, and I hate the way that they use him for that. But to me, again, if it's based on how the guys are playing right now, I think this list is kind of okay. But I don't know, maybe I just need some clarity on that. Is this a projection list or just how they're playing right now?
I feel like I think it's kind of a current list.
Okay.
The way
the
way I kind of read it.
Yeah, then I don't mind. Again, Asar, I love Asar. I just think he has a lot of growth to make still offensively on a consistent level. And I feel like a lot of these guys in front of him have already shown a little bit more of a two-way ability. So I personally don't mind it, but I understand the argument against it.
Yeah, I feel like if this is a projection, Cooper Flagg would be way above Evan Mobley.
Facts. Agreed.
It's funny you say that because I don't even feel like he should be in the top 10 to me. I don't think I've seen enough. Like, Cooper Flagg, like, obviously he's having games right now, but I don't think he's better than Jalen Johnson right now. That's just, to me.
I definitely
agree with
not
that. Today.
Exactly.
Not today.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. He still had a triple-double, but I mean, like,
Johnson's been fantastic. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's like, I get the Cooper hype. I really do. I just don't think he's the 8th best player under 25 years old. I mean,
not yet.
No, I mean, there's some guys on here that aren't even mentioned. Like, Keontae George isn't on this list, which I think is kind of criminal, kind of given like the season he's having in Utah. He's been putting some games together, but as soon as I saw like the Con Knipple, the Dylan Harper, the VJ Edgecombe, like, I was just like, I think Cooper should maybe be a tier below. I think he should be in the row with like Paolo and a Jalen Duren and a Denny Avdia. I think I would feel more comfortable that way. And I had to look it up because I thought Denny Avdia was like 30. He's just been playing in the league so damn long. I had no idea he was still under 25 years old. I was like, oh yeah, the Sekou draft. That's right.
I will say, I think it's pretty surprising that they already, I mean, like, this is really getting in the weeds here. This is really more so just talking about like the rookies, but like the fact they already have Con Knipple already over Dylan Harper. That's pretty surprising to me. I mean, in part, I think some of that's just kind of the role and how they've been featured. I think Knipple's had more of a shot in Charlotte. And I think as you've seen Harper kind of get more featured in the lineup, he's been looking pretty good too. But I mean, I think again, this is just one of those things where you look at this list and you just go, man, what a freaking future this league has. Yeah. Like how bright this is, you know, and specifically like I think when you do look at this list, like if you're to go, hey, of these top 25 players, who's the guy that you feel most confident can bring a championship to his team? I'd put Cade Cunningham as high as anybody on this list. I'd perhaps even put him over Wemby from the standpoint of, I mean, if Wemby's healthy, I think we're all pretty confident they can get at least one Larry O'Brien. But the question, I think we all have the question of, can Wemby get through a playoff run? Can he get through a finals? Can he get through a season unscathed? Whereas like with Cade, I have far less questions about that. The only true big injury scare he had was the shin issue, and that, like, when you look at like the rate that people re-aggravate that type of injury, it's remarkably low.
Yeah, I mean, when you kind of have it in that context, like I think the championship question, Anthony Edwards has been to 2 conference finals, and I don't know if he's going to make it to a 3rd conference finals, but I think maybe that's why he is ranked above Cade, because he's had more playoff success. But I don't really think if you just like match them up one-on-one, compared their stats, they're pretty comparable. I feel like Cade would probably be pretty high up there. So would Wemby. Jalen Johnson, it's hard to, or Jalen Williams, my bad, kind of have that conversation because his team won without him. They won 20 straight games without him. It just kind of shows the depth of his team. Like him and like Chet and him have missed like weeks, and they're still the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Kind of shows.
Still only lost 1 time.
Insanity.
Yeah, it's like this whole list. Like the more you just kind of dissect it, like the Knippel, like excellent pick by Charlotte. But some of the conversations people are having about him are just so insanely crazy. Like I was listening to Zach Lowe, and he's like, yeah, if he keeps it up, he's going to pass Steph Curry in 3-pointers. I was like, well, he's going to have to do this for the next 15 years and making this many. I was just like, oh, let's relax. Yeah. Someone's like, yeah, he's the next Klay Thompson. I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, it's like you get one exciting white guy, and all of a sudden everyone loses their minds. You know?
Exciting whites.
Y'all been waiting for this. Y'all been waiting for y'all. You got a few. You got Knippel and you got Cooper Flag waiting.
Hey,
we got options, man.
Hey, we're feeling insecure. Tonight's our last night. We get to brag about having John Cena. So we're trying to find the next guy that we can have as our champion.
This is National White Athlete Day. Sorry, Reed Shepard. We didn't forget you either, pal.
Dude, when you got a guy like Knippel who's got mad Ope aura and like he's playing as well as he is in the NBA, like that's exciting for some people.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Sean, I'm gonna have to put you on timeout. Aura, and then last week you made a Twilight reference on here. Eric doesn't know about that because I didn't even like bring it up. Like this mofo, like we're talking about just like people on Pistons Twitter having their favorites, and Sean's like, "Yeah, now I know how people felt like watching Twilight." I'm like, "Dog, what the
dude?" I'm just saying, it feels like the way people talk about it. It's like people. It's like I'm Team Edward or I'm Team Jacob. Like that's what it feels like when people talk about these players, man.
You're sadly right. This is exactly what it's turned into for Cade, for Asar, for the Ivy fans. That's exactly what it's getting to. These like little weird subsections of Twilight.
Yeah, and like it's weird because like it's like we're talking about like men and like grown men who are athletes, and like there are people who have these weird like pseudo relationship or like romantic type view towards these people, and it's like, why?
And they're on the same team. Like, I don't understand why the division. They're all doing what they're supposed to do for the same team to win. And y'all just, oh no, it can't be him. It has to be him. Like, stop, bro.
They're literally all friends. They play like ping pong, like after like plane rides together, and literally everyone like online, you know, like fighting, and it's like, you shall not speak of my player.
You know what's bad? It's like I miss the Blake Griffin avatars, the occasional Ish Smith avatars. I love Cade, man, but my whole timeline is Cade Cunningham avatars.
Yes.
And there's certain people that Cade fans, are just Pistons fans. And I read some of these takes and I'm like, do I want to reply? I'm not replying to this because like some of the takes are just so crazy that I'm like, I can't reply. Like this guy's like, if we don't make a move for and win a championship, the season's a failure. I'm like, well, your expectations and this front office expectations don't coexist.
No.
Like fans' expectations are so outlandish and crazy. Someone's like, yeah, if you don't trade for CJ McCollum, that our window's closed. I'm like, the fact that you mentioned CJ McCollum and championship window in the same sentence, I can't take you seriously. And no disrespect to CJ McCollum.
If they don't even take a break with it, like you would think. I was seeing it yesterday. Like they're whooping up on the Hawks by 30 plus, and I'm getting people saying, "Man, that Ivy run though, man, you just can't really bank on that on the team." Like they're up 30 right now. Can we not give this a break for one night, please? Oh no, man, I'm telling you, that's what my concern is right now. I'm like, okay. I see what we need to handle with you people now. No problem. No problem.
So like this is like I've kind of been wanting to ask JB something along the lines of this, but like I think fans much more so, I think this just rings true where I think we're so hell-bent and focused on the destination that we forget to enjoy the journey.
Yes.
And this is like specifically like not to be corny, but like realistically speaking, 29 out of 30 teams every single year are not going to win the championship. So if you view sports in the context of solely winning a championship, you're always going to be disappointed just about every single year of your life, except like one or two. If you're most fans, if you're from Boston, every year you win a title somehow. So, but like when but when you look at the fact that like, and if you focus on the journey and you focus on some of the accomplishments that this team's having and some of the fun, youthful energy, I think that's why for people like me, where it's like, like I've seen how good this team can be, but also like I've seen how long it's been since this organization has been in this spot. And, it's like, I understand for people, it's like you want more. And like, like all the failure of all of your other teams puts the pressure of wanting to see this team go out and put, go get the championship this year. But like, the truth of the matter is like there's fans that like dream of these types of runs, especially with teams that are this young. And so like this is going to be one of those seasons where like we're going to be looking back years from now going, man, what a special season that was, And so
that's where I thought we would be united. I didn't think it would be this division because again, coming from the 28 game losing streak and you come back with the same core, just a different coach, different front office and some veterans, but it's the same core of guys that were there from that. Knowing that they're all still a part of it and they're all the leading cause to why they're winning now, I thought everybody would be able to ride together and just enjoy the ride like you just said, Sean. Nah, bro, they all want to be in that sexy Shams tweet of, oh, such and such tweeted all the bomb. Like, dog, they're winning. That's way more important right now. But people clearly have different goals based on this season now.
It's funny. It's not even a Jaden Ivy thing because, like, I remember when Sadiq Bey was making all those corner threes during the rebuild, and everyone loved Sadiq Bey. Mm-hmm. As soon as the front office and the coaching staff wanted to expand his game, do you remember the conversations? We gotta trade him. Sadiq Bey is the problem. Like, we're losing games because of Sadiq Bey. And then the return you got on him turned into James Wiseman. And then you crashed out for like a year and a half and like poking fun at James Wiseman. Like, what do you think the return on Jaden Ivy is going to be? It's not going to be anything high. His trade value is probably at his lowest point. He hasn't really played great basketball since, getting his leg snapped by Cole Anthony. So, I mean, I'm pumping the brakes on any type of Jaden Ivy criticism. I'm not giving him a pass whatsoever. I feel like he's still not even in basketball shape, especially defensively. I mean, because just the way he's defending right now, it's just like he's grabbing onto everybody just because I think he's still kind of conditioning himself, getting into basketball shape, being on a minute restriction. But I mean,
he just played his fifth. I mean, he just played his 10th game. Like he just got to 10. And it's like, yeah, like I think you can, and like I think like that is one thing is once you get to 10 games, when you talk like to like analytics people, generally you can start talking about players like in 10 game increments and really start to like get some data, and it's no longer really considered like fluky. Like, and it's definitely like it like the returns have definitely been like some of the lowest of his career. like within like those time spans. And it's definitely, like you can definitely have questions when you get to the playoffs of whether or not he's going to be ready. But also, I think when you frame that question, you have to do so with the context of he's only played 10 games and there's still like 57 remaining in this season.
He just played his highest of the season of 18 minutes. It's hard to get a rhythm in playing that small amount of time, in all these games. That's not easy at all for him. And I hate the inconsistency of, like, great, yes, Ivy's not, escape. He can be criticized. Everybody deserves to be criticized. I just don't like the inconsistencies in the arguments. Like, Ivy doesn't have to be a perfect player for him to fit and work with this team. And every other player, for the people that other players they might love, they all got flaws too. Like Cade, we've seen tank off his 3-point percentage. Like Duren still has flaws. We've seen Asar miss layups. Like things happen, bro. I don't understand why every single time this dude makes a mistake, it's, oh my God, sound the alarm. I told you he's what I thought he was. Like, no, you're just very impatient with a guy who snapped his leg just in January. So, like, again, when we talking about a journey, we should be appreciating what his journey is. The fact that he's even on the court again. Like, we saw Paul George snap his leg and kind of come back to be even better, which is insane. Ivy just being on the court right now and finding a way to play winning basketball with this team, it to me is something that you can appreciate because he's not pressing, he's not doing too much, he's trying to work hard on defense, he's moving the ball, he's not shot chucking, he's playing within the flow of the team. And I love that he's able to sacrifice for that, even if he doesn't look like what we saw last season. You don't need that right now, and I think he sees that, which is way more important.
Yeah, he hasn't complained either.
Not at all. Not at all. He's complained since the Monty Williams. He's been able to survive the Monty situation, this situation, and he's just been, hey, thank God, man. I'm here for my team. I do what I got to do. I love that. I love that maturity from the kid.
You want to talk about robbery? The fact that JB Bickerstaff is getting paid like more than like twice less. Like I think Monty's literally making like more than double JB's yearly salary right now.
That's
from the
wild.
Pistons.
Yep.
I saw that he's like one of the, I think, bottom 5 coaches in being paid right now. But I mean, like, I think NBA Central had posted like the top paid coaches, and like if you put Monty's contract into context, he would be the 4th highest paid coach in the NBA, and he's still cashing those $14 million checks, and the Pistons still owe him $50 million.
All he got to do is go walk to the mailbox. He ain't got to blow a whistle. He ain't got to call a meeting. He ain't got to call no plays. Just walk to the mailbox and just be done for the day.
Dude, just pull up that app, watch that checking account refresh, and go coach your sons in high school basketball. Call her a day.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's even like, not to go down the Monty Williams rabbit hole, but I have some people that cover high school basketball down in Texas. And Bruce Bowen's father was coaching his team, and they have Tim Duncan's son on the same team. And after Monty got fired, his son Elijah enrolled into the same school. And the athletic director heard that Monty was coming down, so they fired Bruce Bowen's father, who was coaching the team, and hired Monty Williams to coach their team. And last year they were like under 500. Yeah. It's bad, man.
I genuinely like, again, not to get down the rabbit hole, but like we're already there.
Yep.
Like, does Monty Williams get a head coaching job again?
No.
Yeah.
No chance. No.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, hell yeah. Come on down.
Who would pay
Come
him?
on down. You're the next contestant on the New Orleans Pelicans.
We talk about rabbit holes. Let's go even deeper. Him and Sharon Moore are not getting any kind of calls for any kind of names and guys that are just completely done in terms of head coaching. Those 2 names are out of here. They're not getting calls anytime soon for any coaching opportunities. That is done. Cook for both of them. Go ahead and lean back. You know I'm right. I don't care how quiet you two are. They're both done. They're not getting any calls anytime soon. Neither of those two. Out of here.
We went to Sharon Moore, huh?
Yep. We stay in the current topics, baby.
We brought
we
it
see
up,
everything out here.
We went
Pistons
there.
talking. We go all over. We don't, ain't nothing off for. You called me Vince McMahon earlier. We going all over this one today. Oh man! But I hope everybody's okay in that situation. So
Come on. Oh, you want to take the moral high ground?
Yeah, hey,
just laughing all about it. It's like, yeah,
a little
that is
safety
really
disclaimer
tragic.
right there.
Like, yeah.
Hope everybody's okay.
I do think Monty will get a coaching job because he kept his dick in his pants. Hey, you want to go down the rabbit hole?
That's the theme this week. Untouchable coaches.
I think he would get a coaching job, and I think there are a lot of desperate teams out there. Like Sacramento just seems like it would work. You can't tell me like Vlade would be like, yeah, give me the guy that went to the finals a few years ago. Yeah, I want that guy. Like I could totally see the Kings firing Doug Christie and saying, hey, we're gonna bring in Monty Williams.
Do you think his finals appearance has more like notoriety than his losing streak with the Pistons at this point?
Yeah,
I certainly think that goes a little higher on his resume. I think he puts it a little higher on his resume.
Sure. That's
absolutely.
Right on his, right next to
yeah.
the gold star of the fridge. Absolutely.
Yeah, that 28-game losing streak's in pretty small font. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he could just say, I didn't want the job. Like, he gave me like $14 million. You would probably take that job too.
I said no the first time. Yep.
He'd show him the press conference where he says, the money. I'm here for the money.
I mean, he was honest. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to. He obviously was going through stuff like family wise, which I can respect and understand. But I mean, if someone's just throwing you a Brinks truck, I'd probably take the job too. I probably wouldn't start Killian Hayes though. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
That's in his contract. You want me? Killian's coming too. Come on, let's go, Kill.
Do we know if Killian ever met Monty's daughter?
No. Oh God, that was such a funny ass meme. I don't know if you guys ever were that. I feel like I'm in really deep parts of Pistons Twitter that you guys aren't even a part of. The meme I saw was I want Killian to marry my daughter, and it like they photoshopped his daughter and Killian and like in a wedding suit and everything, and I was just like, it was like a Grok AI image. I was like, bro, I gotta get off Twitter today.
He threw his phone immediately, like, all right, that's enough. No more Twitter today.
Like, well, we're good on the internet.
Yep. Gotta breathe sometimes.
No, there's some like just like dank memes part of Pistons Twitter that I really wish the algorithm would stop putting on my timeline, because some of the stuff I saw today, I was just like, you know what, I'm good. No more Twitter for me today.
Mm-hmm. Some of it can be good though. Pistons Twitter been holding it down. When Knicks Twitter comes through talking trash, when the Hornets whole thing was happening, Cade versus LaMelo, Pistons Twitter hold their own. So I'll give Pistons Twitter some love for sure. They definitely have had their W's this season. I'll give it to them.
Yeah, Sean knows all about those Cade versus LaMelo talks way too well. I almost said, like, don't go in that. I feel like it's good. I should have texted you. So I wouldn't go in that space. Anytime he goes in a space, anytime I've gone in the Twitter space, it's always just gone off the rails. I don't know about you guys.
I clearly had no clue what I was walking into.
I remember even last season, it was after the Knicks series loss, and they were telling me, oh, Eric Vincent just talks trash when they win. But then I came in after they lost and said, hey, congratulations, y'all. You know, you did what you had to do. You know, make it happen. And then when I got off, they still talk trash. Man, that mother, they like, dang, I try to be nice to y'all. Okay, fine. Just me and Ben Stiller. I don't need y'all then. Cool, no problem.
I forgot about that whole fiasco. Sean stole a follow from you.
I gotta be careful. Like,
steal a follow, dang it! I just said how cool it was, and then Ben was like, "All right, I'll follow you." I was like, "Okay, thank you, Mr. Stiller."
Whenever I be talking trash about the Knicks, that's always on my mind. Like, God, I want to go off, but I don't want to lose that follow. I gotta chill out a little bit, you know.
No, Sean, you 100% stole the ball from Eric and got the follow, and then I had the lob.
Did.
I had the lob a follow.
Yes, you helped. Thank you, bro.
Lob a pose for Ben Stiller, so he followed you. He doesn't follow me. I don't give a shit. But I was just like, hey, man.
Nah,
Eric's
Ben,
like,
come on, Ben. Help him out, too. Come on. Give us all three, Ben. Come through.
Hey, I was just shouting out my boy and just so happened to get a Ben Stiller follow. And if that's the order of events, then so be it.
You guys were both on the court at the same time going for that loose ball, and Sean snapped it before the ref could blow the whistle.
Come on!
Oh, my God.
No, that was probably the funniest thing because Eric's just like, motherfucker, you got to follow and I didn't.
I was so mad, bro. Because I knew it was coming. I was going to wake up in the morning and it was going to be sitting there. Like, nope. He liked the tweet, but didn't give me the follow. I'm like, that's grimy.
I was so confused. I was like, I have no clue how this happened. No clue.
I mean, I think the most random follow I got was John Cena, but I think he quickly unfollowed me. Shout out to John Cena, last match of the night.
John, go miss you, John.
Last match of his life.
Who knows? Who knows with WWE? They'll be like, "Hey, John, I know you're 60 now. You want to tussle with Undertaker? He's 80. Let's do it."
Right?
Yeah, he'll be like, I don't want to ruin my legacy unless there's a big Saudi Arabia bag that comes, and then that's the retired wrestling move right there.
Exactly.
And then they don't tell anybody. Goldberg just comes out, spears it, wins the title, and then walks off in the sunset.
And Goldberg's still not happy. I was supposed to spear him twice.
Dude, he's gonna come down with a freaking walker one day, and it's like gonna be like, oh no, here he goes.
Mm-hmm. Smack his head on the ring post, botching again for the 3 millionth time in his career.
When he gets to the ring eventually, they're gonna be in real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember this wrestler's name because it just popped up on my Facebook memories. I don't remember who he was, but it was a Royal Rumble, and he slipped, and then he went under the
Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
This is a Facebook memory.
One of the best entrances that never happened. He slides under.
I don't know how that guy became a jobber within like a year. Like, it's so much.
You don't know how?
I don't get it, man. Like, he had like everything they were looking for, but like I guess.
What do you mean everything they were looking for? The ability to trip under the ring? Like, what did he have?
Okay, before that, he was a pretty good like wrestler, and his mic skills weren't okay. They were trash. You're right. Never mind.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? Have you ever heard him talk?
Yeah, I mean, well, Bobby Lashley can't talk, but that's
true.
a whole different. That's different. But comparing those two is probably unfair.
I
have not watched wrestling and probably last time I watched wrestling, Roman Reigns was still, I think, a face. He wasn't a heel. So it's been years. Like I was like, why are they trying to make him into like a corporate John Cena? I can't watch this anymore.
Boys, I don't want to end the pod abruptly, but I just feel like if we're at Titus O'Neil o'clock, I think we might have ran out of things to talk about.
Shout out to everybody still rocking in with us right now.
Once we're talking about Titus O'Neil and Bobby Lashley, it's like I think we have covered about everything we can.
We really have, and we still have 800 people in here still.
Unbelievable.
Talking about like John Cena and Bobby Lashley. I mean, man. But I want to give you guys the floor to plug and promote yourself. We do have all you guys' social media links down below in the description. So whichever one of you guys want to go first to plug yourself, go for it.
Yeah, you can follow myself at Sean Halfcourt on Twitter, but also check out the podcast on YouTube at From Half Court. That's where a lot of the content's coming these days. So thanks for having me as always, man.
For sure.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. You follow me on my social media at I am Eric Vincent. You can follow all of my beat reporting work, all of my articles at clutchpoints.com. I have my own YouTube page as well, Top Title Detroit. And starting next week, actually, I'm going to be streaming Pistons away games. I'm going to be doing some content with there on liveonassist.com. Again, live on assist.com. I think I'm going to link that to my YouTube page. So again, subscribe to Top Title Detroit. And you can rock in with me on some Pistons away games this season. I'm very excited to get started with that next week.
Yeah, if you want to follow Eric, he likes to let Cade Cunningham know he's a Cowboys fan, or you want to follow Sean, this week for sure. I mean, I think especially the home game this week is going to be must-watch TV, especially with the timeline. Oh, they play the Hornets. That's right.
Sir.
Hey, I'm just going to be covering a game that day, man.
Low key in the back of your mind when the Pistons pull them up by 30, be like, yeah, I told you, motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. You better hit that dude up for that spaces. You better be on his ass all day.
I plead the fifth. I assert my Fifth Amendment rights.
Oh, we're gonna wrap this up. The fact that we went on the Titus O'Neil rabbit hole, Sherelle Moore mention. I expect no less with you too. It's always
I hit the prime time playa. Like that's when it's time to call.
It's getting clipped.
Oh, I have no doubt.
We'll see you guys all next week for our post game shows. But appreciate you guys as always. Making the time to come on here. But we'll see you guys later. As always, go Pistons. Peace.